Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Do you look nice? You got one last time to look at yourself. Do you look good? You gonna fix your hair or anything?
I like to think my hair always looks good.
Hello and welcome to the CHA Extracurricular Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Keller, and I am so excited to have with me Peyton Wilson. Peyton, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. We've got a lot to talk about, and I'm really excited about what we get to talk about, but I'll try not to give it away yet. Oh, I'll give it away. We're going to be talking about service projects and mission work, and Peyton had an opportunity to serve here recently, and I am excited to get into that because, folks, that is something that we value here at CHA, and I actually want to take this moment to talk about our expected student outcomes. We have several of these, and two of them that really fit this discussion that Peyton and I are about to have. So our expected student outcomes, these are things that we anticipate our students being able to do and embody by the time they graduate from Christian Heritage Academy. So the two we're really going to kind of focus on here today are faithful stewards. These are folks who use their gifts and talents to serve others generously, care for God's creation vigilantly, and cultivate an awe of God inspirationally. The second one that really we can hone in on here are ethical citizens. These are people who make decisions from a biblical worldview while respecting persons of all ages, races, cultures, faiths, and values. That brings us to Peyton. What exactly did you get to do here recently? Where did you go and why? What was the need for you to go to this place?
Went to Henderson, North Carolina, somewhere down there by where they got hit the worst, kind of.
Okay,
and then,
wait a minute now. Catch us all up, because people could be watching this months from now. What did they get hit with down there in North Carolina?
They got hit with a hurricane.
That's right. It was pretty devastating, wasn't it?
Yeah. Got trees on houses and busted up water lines and all sorts of stuff.
A lot of damage. Absolutely. So let's be a little bit more specific. So who did you go with? Did you go on your own? Did you go with a church? What sort of group did you go with to Hendersonville? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
I went with a small group from my church, my pastor, and then a couple other guys. And we went down there, stayed at another church in Mud Creek, and
Very
then
cool.
Got fed good food in the morning and at night.
Hey, you got to have energy to do some hard work, right?
Yeah.
Folks, I don't know if you know this, but Peyton is a man of few words, and we're going to see if we can get him to reach his limit today, maybe even push him over the top in his words for the day. What do you think?
I'll try and use big words.
That'll work good too. So how many of you all do you think there were that went down?
I'd say there's about around 17 or 20
Okay.
people.
That's a pretty good group. Did you all take your own equipment, your own tools and things, or were the tools and things there for you when you got there?
We took our own tools down. We took a couple side-by-sides and a couple of excavators, and then...
Okay, you guys were ready then.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see here. So speaking of that, we know a little bit about the tools that you brought. Did you bring, I'm guessing you brought some hand tools too, saws and things like that, right?
Yeah, we brought a couple chainsaws, and we brought a couple first aid kits just in case someone got hurt.
For sure. So what sorts of things were you all doing while you were down there?
We went down there. We went to clean up a couple guys' houses, cleared some couple yards, took trees off of houses, cleared the brush, and then at this one house we covered up some guy's water line that got exposed.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit, if you can, describe what sort of damage you saw, or you said there's trees on houses. I mean, are we talking about houses that are crushed? What are we talking about here?
There's one house there, and this might have been, I don't know, probably the second worst house that we went to. It was a pretty big tree, and it was laying on top of the house, and there was a hole in the roof and all that.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of broken off limbs all in the house. Everything in the house was tore up, no walls.
Right.
refrigerator flew out the window.
Wow.
And then you had like a bunch of their stuff like just thrown out in the yard because it was kind of like a junkyard house where they had like trash trucks. That was their job.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about like, did you all do work at that place?
Yeah.
So what were some of the things you did there to help clean up?
My vehicle was the one to get there first, so we got down there and we walked around and like scoped out the house and looked at what we needed to do. And then when everyone else got down there, you got a couple people that were helping move the actual tree off there, and then they take chainsaws, cut that up in smaller pieces. I'd grab them and I would throw them in like a small little burn pile.
Yeah.
I helped fix some kind of small little generator thing where I had to like basically assemble it kind of.
Yeah.
I was doing that while I was waiting because they needed that done.
Very cool. That's awesome. And then it worked?
Yeah.
All right. I love that part too. Good job, Peyton.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to bring this back because like I mentioned those ESOs earlier, and I'm just sharing like this is the idea. This is what we want here at CHA. Students like Peyton who use those gifts and those talents that you have to be able to help others, to be able to serve, to be able to care for people. And man, we really just value that and appreciate that here at CHA. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
All right, how about, I got a different question. One of the things that I love about mission work is the people that either you're around or the people you meet, right? And I'm thinking more of like church trips that I've been on in the past. So this was kind of an emergency. So you don't necessarily have the time to come up with a team that you pick and choose. It's just kind of like whoever's available, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the people you met, and it can be people down there in North Carolina, or it could be maybe people that you didn't know as well before you went on the trip, but they went with you and you kind of got to know them a little more. Do you mind sharing about one or two people?
There was a couple people. We didn't really work with a bunch of people that were down there already. I mean, there was one group from Tennessee that got there a day before we left, but we stayed with our group.
Yeah.
And then with people from my group, there's one guy. He didn't go to our church, but he hung out with us a lot. So he went down there with us.
Yeah.
And then I got to talk with him a lot, and then I hung out with him more. And then on the way back, we stopped at Burger King and we ate dinner, and then he was there with us.
Yeah.
And then after the trip, I got to see him at my church now.
Yeah.
And then he started coming to our church, and I've talked to him a little bit while we've been back.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's one of the things that I love about mission trips is, of course, you're there to help people. And I'm so excited that you had that chance. But you also get to meet new people, grow a relationship with them. And then, like you said, like this is continued. Now he's coming to your church, right? And spending time with you guys there. And that's just so cool that God can work through these sorts of situations to bring about new relationships and new opportunities. And that goes back to ethical citizens, right? Students who are able to respect people no matter what sort of culture or background they come from, and then being able to communicate with them, spend time with them at Burger King or wherever else it might be, or on the work site, right? There's always there tends to be some time for chat on the work site, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the fun parts about it. How about did you, I know we kind of chatted before this, and you didn't really get to, directly talk with folks who were there, but did you see any of the folks who were there that kind of, it was their homes they were working on, and what were they like, and how did they receive you all?
Yeah, there was one lady that her whole house got flooded, and they weren't like her kids, but they were like related to her, and she was watching them. And then their house got flooded, and then I think they were like climbed up on the wash machine just to stay out of the water.
Wow.
And then they had to, like, it kept rising, and they found like a small little hole in their roof. So what they did was they like kind of broke it, made it a little bit bigger, so they could like get the little kids up into they actually got into like the ceiling.
Yeah, like the attic area.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we didn't actually work on their house, but they said there was people, they had neighbors up at the top, and they'd come down here and help them out.
Yeah.
every once in a while, and they came down there during the flood, and they found she liked to rescue a bunch of animals and stuff, and all of her cats except for one had drowned.
Yeah.
And she had prayed to God that she just wanted at least just one cat to have survived.
Yeah.
But she got that one cat, and then all the other ones were missing.
Yeah.
And then when we were leaving, we stopped by her house and gave her some money that we came up there with because we were trying to get all of that out because we came up there with like $2,000.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you kind of like pretty much answered this question, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it again because I think there are other ways that we can talk about this too. But another thing I like to think about when you're able to do things like this, mission work and outreach, is how do you see God through that and like while you're on the job site or things like that. So I know you mentioned the lady that directly, prayed about having a cat survive. And I think those things sometimes seem small, but like those are powerful evidence of the Creator, right? And His ability to even care about us and our pets. Are there other ways that you were able to see God on this trip too?
There was one family that we had to patch up that water pipe and cover it so it wouldn't get broke any more than it already was. And then when we were leaving their house, they said that they were trying to give us money to donate to the church that we were helping at and staying at.
Yeah.
And then when we went back and we were on the day we were leaving, we stopped by their house to talk to them. And then they were saying that they started like watching our home church, like their online services, and started watching them and like learning about
that's awesome,
like how our church worked and stuff like that.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible? In this time, there's so many things that we can say negative about technology, but man, let's not forget some of the cool positive things that have come with this change in technology, like being able to watch a church online when yours probably isn't meeting, right? Or maybe you're intimidated by the idea of going into a church, but Peyton and his crew comes down from this church that's willing to help these folks out, and they're willing to watch online and see a little bit more about what these people are about, right? I think that's so awesome, such a cool witness, and a great way to point out seeing God in those activities too. So thank you so much, Peyton.
Thank you.
Hey, you got any last things you want to share? I think we're getting close to the end of our time here.
There was one house where their entire backyard was covered with a bunch of red pine trees and they were super like really really big. We had to get chainsaws and just cut a path in it just so we'd actually get to their backyard because their house was surrounded by trees.
Yeah.
And then they had all the actual big trees were actually in their yard, so we had to make sure we could get our side by sides back there to pull them out.
Yeah.
And then we stayed there for like the entire day, so we worked there for probably like 7-9 hours maybe.
Yeah.
And but we finally got that done. And then there's another one where we got there a little bit late, and the power lines had fallen in front of their house, and we had to a tree from some other guy's neighbor, his house. That tree fell onto their fence, and it fallen into their yard, taking up a lot of their space. So we had to get that up and fix the fence and all of that. And there's a couple of houses we had to climb mountains to get up on, which they're really small roads.
Yeah.
And you drive up a couple hills to get up there. And because we had like a super long trailer,
right?
It was kind of difficult to get up and down and turn around.
So. A little scary, any?
Not really.
No. Okay. All right. Well, y'all made it work. It sounds like you all definitely worked hard, and I know there's still lots of work going on in that area. And folks, we've actually got an opportunity that this is going to kind of be a mini series. I've got a few more gentlemen here at CHA that I'm going to talk to about this very same sort of thing. They've had opportunities to do mission work down in North Carolina following this hurricane, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say. And I want to thank Peyton. You're the first one to share about this, so well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you here, and I think we definitely helped you reach your quota of words for the day.
I think so.
You did a great job. Thank you, Peyton. Thank you for being here, and I hope maybe you'll join me again sometime.
I might.
Maybe. Hey, thank you guys for watching and for listening. This was an episode of the Extracurricular Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come join us again soon. Well, I look forward to another episode in the future, maybe next week if I can get on it. And again, folks, you can find us on podcasts through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and we are posting on YouTube as well. So thank you for being here. May we be united in Christ. Go Knights.